Good day, folks. Everything new under the sun. I want to do a quick little video of our apple press, our DIY apple press, using a Garburetor, a bucket with holes drilled in it, and 2x4 construction for the press. So I just recently got the Garburetor. It's not too bad for grinding up the apples. It's a half horsepower. I would suggest to go to a 3.25, 3/4 horsepower. It might have a bit more power. This did time out after a while, and the breaker flipped on it. I think it was getting a little overheated, but it does mush up the apples. You got to be fairly physical though to dry the apples through it, as you can see. And that was off Amazon for, I think, about $50. It was from their Amazon warehouse. The box is all destroyed, but the unit itself seems to work fine otherwise. So I've considered strapping this to the side of the apparatus here. So the apparatus is all 2x4s with some bolts going through it, just to create a firm base for a bottle jack, which I have, a 20-ton bottle jack, which then just presses the apples down, presses against that top bar there. And it needs to be fairly sturdy because that's a lot of force a 20-ton bottle jack is going to put on those apples. I've also crushed up the apples by use of just a big pole and just kind of bashing them. If you don't crush them or bash them, they stay whole basically, and they're very hard to crush. Those are my kids there. My daughter's likes to dress up, so she's a bit dressed up today. There's the 20-ton bottle jack. The pail is a food-grade plastic pail, and we simply drilled holes in it. And I used an old bed sheet that we had for actually covering the tomatoes to act as a bit of the strainer for the bigger holes, because when you grind up the apples so much, they would tend to just squish out like applesauce through those larger holes. It works if you manually crush the apples with a pole or something, because the bits are too big to go through those holes. At the bottom is just a foil pan from the dollar store with a hole in the corner of it. You can see the construction of the 2x4. It's very basic, and it just seems to work. And then we have a pot underneath it where it all comes out. So it all works very easily. You can see the bucket deforming a little bit. We've never had actually issues with it crushing or breaking so far. This is certainly not something that's going to last 100 years, but it's easy enough to make with the bucket. That we could, I could make another bucket real quick, but it seems to work. And out of this batch, we got, I think, 5 liters of apples from 2 5-gallon buckets of apples. So there you go. So here's a look at what we were doing on the stove. I boil it just to be sure, because we're kind of crushing everything up just to make sure it's safe. Boil it, and then I've got a fruit bag, which we strain it through, which you'll see shortly as I pan over to the bucket. And I got the fruit bag there and strain it through just to get some of the particulates. And then we put it into freezable jugs, and you can use it for the winter. It creates a great vitamin C source for the winter. So thanks for watching. Hope you found that helpful, and the use of the Garburetor helpful as well. We'll see you guys in the next video.